more than preaching, I think we need to model this. Now, we have done this to this generation. I'm not blaming this generation. Our generation is to blame. Who came up with this technology? Who came up with all this junk food? We have got them addicted to that. Now I think it is a role of us, Territorial Army, to move into the campuses and model this. As you know, we, for example, in XIM University, have made it mandatory that every student should play at least an hour every day, be exposed to the elements, and develop at least one particular skill. It can be anything. It can be painting, drawing, singing, any area, technical expertise, anything. I think the time has come for us in this day and age of AI, a world which makes everything obsolete. You and I will not be needed tomorrow, looks like that. It is planned obsolescence. So how are we going to take on these challenges in the emerging future and prepare a civilian population who will really be intellectually competent, emotionally dedicated, physically robust, so that we can draw upon this civilian population, leverage their expertise. So the fundamental duty is to ensure that all these things are put in place. This is the foundation upon which we can build a superstructure of expertise, ingenuity, dedication, commitment, etc. Thank you.
Dr. Casimir, extremely pertinent issues brought out by you, and we definitely need concerted efforts to address what you brought out. And I think in the panel here, Govind must be the closest to the generation that you are referring to on my left. So I'll definitely let him broach upon this issue when I come to you. Govind, coming to you. You are an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur yourself, do you think, in addition to what I just said, do you think a lateral induction of civil professionals at a suitable level into the army through the TA clause and with flexible terms of engagement will draw and attract more talent into defense? And what all benefit does it get along with it?
Okay, so let me address this issue that he's actually brought up first. First of all, I'm not accepting that all the youths are like that. In fact, the reason I'm saying humbly in a perspective is that what I understood currently, if you look at the innovation coming out of India, is drastically improved. If you look at the number of patents that we have filed, the youths have filed, is increased drastically. That is I feel one of the benchmark for innovations that we can say. And secondly, I don't use social media like that. I use social media very consciously, and I have a set of communities which I've been part of. We use very productively the social media, understanding the knowledge and what's happening in the world, and consciously contribute to the society. And secondly, I'm not there in Instagram and some of the other places. I only stick myself into LinkedIn and use the social media professionally. And then I think we are also a community where we do constant blood check of our health conditions, and according to each and every conditions that we see, we have our own personalized training. In fact, I spend a day at least 2 hours in MMA gym. That is a culture we have. That is a culture which is newly building in India. So, in fact, I agree in certain fact that up to a level, when that transition happened, the large dumping of specific culture and trends and everything is happened in India. There is a time where this is actually explored by the people who's not explored at all, specifically from youth community for a period of time. But they have the mindset is comparatively good. They learned and corrected this states, and now I believe we are creating a community, a conscious community where they use this information in a very standard point of view. Now coming to the question that you have asked, I will try to answer this from a perspective of the startup communities. Okay, so in India, I think we are one of the first batch in 2015 when the Startup India initiatives are created. We are one of the first kind of a batch. Where at that time, like we got to know about the word itself, like startup for the first time. during that period. That was an enlightening thing for all of us. It gives us freedom, basically. Freedom to explore our passion, freedom to do creative ways, using our knowledge to solve different kind of problem that we see in our society. So if you look at currently India is the third largest country in terms of startup in the world. And secondly, we have our unicorn status are increased drastically. We are contributing to valuable engines, economical engine in India, and the unicorn status is drastically increased for the past few years. And now coming to the deep tech sector, around 5,000 of startups are registered under DPIIT on the deep tech sector, and majorly from robotics, AI, and also space. Space also India is comparatively world known recently, and because of the presence of ISRO and all. So in this 5,000 deep tech startups, I would say around 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs of deep tech professionals are there. We are mostly youngsters who works on niche technology, specifically on advanced AI and robotics, and specifically space and defense related applications also, from a civilian point of view. So these are not something that academia can take some time and build them and teach them and get into situation, because by that time the world is actually moved into the next level. Even right now, if you look at the catching up of even civilian technology in terms of robotics, we are 10-15 years back in terms of where world is currently at. So that lag cannot be compromised or captured by the academic contribution. So that's where I believe the startup expert is required for even civilian application in problem solving, or even for the defense sector also. You cannot create this kind of a talent otherwise. So you need the support. This is an in fact situation. And again, when I look into the startup community, some of the advantage that I saw is they are very good at handling resource limitations. In fact, in the recent US-Iran warfare also, you have seen the cost asymmetry. That is one of the biggest advantage that Iran was actually using. So that cost asymmetry is the same way where startups are actually winning the market. In fact, if you look at, that's how small startups with a small number of people, new freshly built people, they compete with the giants using this cost asymmetry. And I think that is something at this point of time startups can actually contribute into the defense forces also, where multiple minds can work on resource limited ways, so that we can build cost asymmetric solutions for defense forces also to solve the national threats. Now, coming to the point, there is obvious reasons where this particular expertise of startup communities are having, and obviously that is required in the defense forces also. In fact, all the people who is working on startup, they want to work with the state of art of the technology, and most of the time, because of the capital limitation, they are not accessible to that. But I believe on the other side of the defense forces, they have it actually, the state of art technology. So this is actually win-win for both entities. The community who want to work on the deep tech and this kind of thing, they're getting state of the art kind of a facility in the defense forces. At the same time, some of the problems we can use and solve through this expertise as well. So I see a win-win in that perspective. And the way that we can actually arrange this, I believe the national spirit is there with everyone in our society. And if you at least spark it, it will just burn. That's how the community is, specifically in the youth. We are really happy to contribute to the national building. We are looking forward to any opportunity. That way we can also be a part of national building. So the regular TA kind of situations where civilians can work with DA in a holistic way and understanding different type of problems that army is using. Even from the understanding point of view, I'm not saying you give a problem, we are solving it. We can even find problems, in the defense forces and apply creative mind to solve it. That can be a holistic approach where there is no objective of there is a problem, you come and solve it. Either you be there, experience the life, and then if you find out some problem that you can solve, that can be an option. And second option, if army or defense forces have certain kind of a problem, which a reasonable belief that certain kind of an expertise can solve, you can in a consultation wise or recruit laterally to the particular project and build up a team. How a startup approach kind of a problem. You can build up a team with a different type of expertise, not just simply from technological side, even from management and other kind of career aspects, and build a proper organization inside the army to solve different type of problems that you are encountering. And even if they are not able to contribute it fully also, even part-time adjustments can also be done. Now, this is also one of the biggest advantage of the current youth. They can easily learn, through the mechanisms and available materials and resources, and adapt themselves into the new things which is coming up. So let us utilize that kind of a situation, and according to project-wise, according to availability-wise, we can plan, and by using very limited resources, we can actually solve very larger problems. So these are some ways which I was thinking that communities, the youth community can also contribute to the TA. And obviously, once we show that, it's inspire a lot of people as well. That will just get into a kind of a chain reaction. And now I believe if that initiative is done, at one point of time, you may not be having seats for the